let's go to the drama, the biggest drama this weekend, and it had to be, and it's not the sacking of Steven Gerrard. We knew that was coming already, for a while now. We knew that was just a matter of time.
Long
But
overdue.
but a few minutes to the end of the game, we saw Ronaldo walk out of the stadium, and then the story is that he drove out of the stadium entirely. Um, and then in the pre-match press conference earlier today, Eric Ten Hag actually confirmed that they asked Ronaldo to come on towards the end of the game, to come on and get, as in before the last substitution, he was going to be brought on, and Ronaldo refused to go on. See, I have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to let you guys. I'm going to let you guys start it off first. Is this is if you look at the drama that happened in the summer, how there were rumors about clubs interested in him, even though we didn't see any concrete bid coming from anywhere, and you ask yourself the question: should United have let Ronaldo go? Is United really disrespecting Ronaldo, or Ronaldo is just being a spoiled brat and disrespecting his teammates, the fans, his manager, and the club as a whole?
Listen, two things can both be correct. United can disrespect Ronaldo, and Ronaldo can be a spoiled brat. Those two things can both be correct at the same time. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. This I want to first of all, put this caveat out there, because just in case people come at me and say, this is not how I reacted when Arteta was behaving with Aubameyang and stuff
Ozil.
like that. Because in that Aubameyang situation, I absolutely was 100% behind Arteta, even though everybody knows my views about Arteta, but I was 100% behind, the way that he treated Aubameyang. But in this case, I'm not 100% behind Ten Hag, in this, because I feel that, this manager has actually created drama and created, a bit of a show when it was not needed. United are going through a transition right now, and what they need right now is a bit of stability. They've had a lot of managers, leave the club. They've had a lot of high-profile players leave the club, including Pogba. You can say whatever you want, about what his performances were on the pitch, but he was a high-profile player that brought a lot of attention to the team, and so is Ronaldo. So for me, you could almost predict that this was going to come to a head, right? And so if you look at this thing in just isolation and look at what Ronaldo did, walking, out of the pitch, you can maybe question, the fact that, well, what's he doing about the rest of his teammates? What respect does he have for his teammates, to just walk away from a game, that is not completed? But at the same time, right, you have to look at everything in totality. Was the manager, trying to establish his own prominence, basically using Ronaldo to prop up, his influence or his designation of power in Manchester United? Because that most of the big time, coaches, they always take one very important player and they use that to almost, signal their influence. You know what Arteta did with Aubameyang? You could argue that was the case. Pep did that when he went to Man City. You could argue what he did with Joe. You could argue, there were times Sergio Aguero was not, necessarily in his plan. You could also look at, what was happening in Real Madrid, with Gareth Bale, as well. And you can kind of see all these different instances where there's almost like an ego trip, happening between the manager and the player. But in this United case, it was completely unnecessary. There was no need to push this boss into this direction. So this is very self-inflicted, right? And I have a lot of sympathy, for Ronaldo in this scenario, because, you've created a scenario that is almost like constructive dismissal. It's like your boss, right? I'm telling you that, hey, listen, right? You said that you want to resign. Okay, I'm not going to allow you to resign, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to demote you. I'm going to say that instead of you managing all the people that you're managing, you're now going to be managing less people. You're going to have less influence. But you know what? That's exactly how I want to operate. This man wanted to leave the club and go and play somewhere else, and you told him to leave.
Who came for him? Who came for him? Tell me
Listen,
one club. Tell me one club that dropped money and said we want to buy Ronaldo.
what we're not going to be able to determine, right, actual facts, because nothing is there in the public domain, right?
Because all the clubs, there was no club. Eddie, there was no club.
But if you listen,
The four clubs
Yes.
that were linked to him, hierarchies at the club said they never wanted Ronaldo. Pep has denied him.
But you know that there's
Bayern Munich has denied him. PSG has denied him.
No. But you know there's a difference between what people say publicly and what would have happened behind closed doors.
So why do you want to deal? Why do you want to hold on to what you don't know, what you are assuming, what you think might have happened, and you want to ignore what? That's what we're assuming. Nobody came for him. Nobody made an offer for him. Does Roy Keane work for United?
Kali, let me come in here. Eddie.
No, it's not.
I think Eddie, I see a lot of sentiment, and I totally disagree. I totally disagree with Eddie 100%. 150%. I totally disagree with Eddie. And even the references he was making to corporate environment, he's totally wrong.
Festus, I was holding myself. I was smiling
just to hold myself so I don't get angry. Seriously. Because you are bound to the club, which means you're subject to the laws and you're subject to all the influences of the man. The manager is the king as far as any football club. You know, the only people that can override the manager's decision is the chairman and the board when they want to, like, if the chairman, remember when we watched the Arsenal All for Nothing, at a point, the board told Arteta that if they can't offload him mid-season, they will have to recall him. They told him point blank. I watched the board meeting when he was told. And it was on the last day, Aubameyang would have come back to the Arsenal team because they couldn't afford
no. So
let me not digress.
Festus, let's leave the Arteta matter.
Yeah.
Aubameyang, if you had not gone, he was never coming back to that.
Arteta was done. I don't want to go into that, but let me come back to the Ronaldo incident. All the players you've mentioned, from Aguero when he was treated that way to Ozil, how many of them walked out of the stadium? This is a big insult. You have the right to sulk. You have the right to get angry.
Which has been doing for a long time.
Yes, you're a human being.
Are you saying that
you have the right to show your anger
and throwing your shirt?
A lot of players are substituted. You see them go to their seat, frown, they don't shake manager. You have the right. At times you will do that. It's human nature. At times emotions get better, but you can't get up from your seat and walk that length and drive out of the stadium. You're disrespecting your teammates, you're disrespecting the fans, you're disrespecting the coach, you're disrespecting the club as a whole. You can't do that. And this is classic Ronaldo. This is what we keep saying. Ronaldo clearly is a very selfish person. You know, most times Ronaldo is all about him. Yes, it's all about him. Even in all clubs, Ronaldo. This is classic Ronaldo. Even in Real Madrid, Eddie. Even in Real Madrid, it was all about Ronaldo. Even when Bale came,
did he walk out of the pitch?
No, he didn't. But you could not. Anytime there is always an.
Let's not say classic Ronaldo.
Ronaldo craves attention to himself, and it has always been him.
Which big player does not crave attention? No. Which big player doesn't crave attention?
You don't give him leeway in situations like this. It is clearly wrong. How can you walk out? See, you're distracting a whole lot of people across.
Okay, Festus, let me say, you know, Eddie was asking you a question earlier when you were talking, and he said, is it worse than throwing the shirt on the ground, right? I don't know how you want to do it, but both of them were wrong.
Yeah,
they were disrespectful to the fans. But you know what? Xhaka kept playing despite the insults and whatever. He kept playing,
even when fans were booing him. He was playing.
When they threatened his family. When they cussed out at his family, he kept playing. You know what he did? He waited for the end of the season. He didn't stage a protest by walking out. The reason he threw his shirt down, it wasn't like he was walking away. They substituted him, right? So it wasn't like he was refusing to play. Ronaldo was called to come and be substituted on. He refused and then walked away.
You don't do that.
So, and that's not the first time he's doing it. It's the second time he's walking away. Now they have a thing. No player leaves until after the team post-match meeting in the dressing room. He wasn't even there to celebrate the victory with his teammates.
He took the shine out of the performance of the whole team.
You know what I enjoyed? Confirmation that the players celebrated the victory in the dressing room. They didn't even miss him. I love that. But you know what? Xhaka was going to leave Arsenal, and Arteta sat him down like, give me 6 months. I know you've had a history. I know you've had what's going on here. But you know what Xhaka has done? He's fought in his way back into being relevant to the fans. Now they sing his name.
Yeah.
You don't disrespect the people. The fans have not turned on Ronaldo. Do you know that? The fans haven't turned on him. And in Xhaka's case, even when Ozil was playing rubbish on the field and all the other players were not pulling their weight, Xhaka commits himself 200%. He makes a mistake and is the scapegoat. And that was the problem. Xhaka was giving more than 100%.
He actually got frustrated.
And he was being blamed for Arsenal's woes. So you can't compare him and Ronaldo. I'll tell you this: Ronaldo had a good season last season, but do you know what happened on the other side? On the flip side, every other player that were performing well before he came dropped.
Yeah, because they have to make him the point man. Everything goes to him.
Everything went through Ronaldo.
And that's how he wants.
But how is that his problem?
But it is his problem because Ronaldo wants
addressing that issue.
It's down to the coach.
Now
we now have a coach. You now have a coach.
You now have a coach.
Not maximize his impact on the pitch with
Eddie, you now have Eddie. You now have a coach. You now have a coach who wants his team.
Yes,
you have a coach who wants a team, not a player. He doesn't want to really worship any player.
Around a player, he wants a team to play.
I'll give you. Yeah.
And in some matches, Ronaldo may not fit the pattern he wants to play.
No, let him go to where? Eddie, you keep saying let him go. Let him go to where? No, Eddie, let him go to where? To just free him?
Yes,
because Arsenal did it.
Set him on a free.
No, every club will do it.
And Baka finally
did it for a lot of players.
But every club won't do it.
They are in
the
business.
fact that Arsenal decided to do that.
Yeah.
In Ronaldo's case, he has not been chased out of the team. He has not been pushed out of the team. He can still play. He started in the game before the Tottenham game, the game against Newcastle United. Ronaldo started. What was his impact? Zilch. Zero.
Eddie, last recording, I told you point blank, Ronaldo is no longer fit to play 90 minutes.
90 minutes, not in England. Not in England.
He cannot. Especially with the way Ten Hag wants to play. Ronaldo cannot do that.
Cannot.
He has to be coming in. He has to be
I have the coach responsible for the sequence of activities that is happening right now.
You have a contract. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to honor your contract. You're a part of that team.
Totally wrong.
Every time, if they call you to play for 30 seconds, you stand up and play.
Yes, you pay. They pay you weekly.
It is your job.
They pay you weekly.
They pay you weekly for that.
Even if it's 1 second. If I'm the coach, Eddie, if I'm the coach, I will be playing every 91st minute till the season ends. That is how I will play him. And if he refuses to pay, we'll find him. We'll find him every week. We'll find him half of his wages every week.
Do you know what? You know what? What I'm going to say is that
he's not bigger than the team. He's not bigger than the team. He cannot do that.
Nobody's bigger than the team. And
you're making excuses.
But that's what we want to do with Ronaldo. We want to make him bigger than the team.
This is why I put that caveat at the beginning, because people think I'm being very hypocritical.
Even in Aubameyang's case, Kali, he was asked to go and train with the under 20s. He was excused from matches for a very long time. So he was even begging. Everybody was begging to come back. Ateta refused. How much more? Somebody you about bringing him 90-something minutes, and he walked out of the stadium.
I hear all this. And
you're still making excuses for him.
But why do you this the way this thing is going to end is inevitable? You know that.
And
He's
who
gonna
is
leave.
he
Gonna
that
end
to-
well.
Yes, he will
Yeah.
leave the club,
It's not
clearly.
going to end well.
Eddie,
The
Eddie,
player
he
is
has a
gonna leave.
contract. He has a contract with the club. Let him honor the
He
contract.
must honor
You are
it.
paid. You are getting paid how many hundreds of thousands of
Come
pounds every
on.
week, and you're claiming if you're called to
If
play
they
30
want you to
seconds, you
play
go
2
in there,
minutes, that is
you
it.
play
You
it.
and collect your money.
You play.
And
You're
if you're
not. You
not
see,
happy at the end of the season, you seek for club. You can buy out your contract if you have money. Players do it.
the Xhaka
Players
example.
go, they come some teams to come and buy me. They buy out their
But
contract.
do you also agree with me that this situation is completely unnecessary and could have been avoided?
It's
And
not
I know that
unnecessary.
No. You're saying
that no club came for him, but that's not the only solution to this problem. You
so.
know
What's
that.
the solution?
problem in the
What's the
first place?
solution?
Kali,
That
hold
get
on.
fit.
Kali,
Get
hold
fit.
on.
If
Eddie, what
you
is the
can play, you
problem
play.
in the first place? What
So
is the problem in the first place?
first
That
of all,
you have a match that you don't fit into my plans. How is that a problem? The coach decides who play per match. The next match, Ronaldo could be necessary for his plan, and he plays them.
I understand that.
He started the Newcastle match. Eddie, he started the Newcastle match. He played for a very long minute. So this match, if the coach has seen that, okay, this is a match I need other players to execute my plan. So why do you get angry? Who are you?
Listen, I'm not saying that he's bigger than the club.
But the
coach should take some responsibility for this. This is not like all of a sudden, like halfway through the season, Ronaldo just came out of nowhere and started misbehaving. This was from the off season. You already knew that the player did not want to be there. And what do they always say about unwanted players? They can affect the team dressing room. They can affect your performance on the pitch. They can actually get you sacked as well. I will have no sympathy for him if.
But Eddie, all these things you're saying. But Eddie, all these things you're saying.
This problem for himself.
Eddie, there's no problem. Now, Eddie, I'll say this, right? Okay, he wanted to go. No club came for him. Why didn't he buy out his contract? At least Neymar did it at Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wanted to go to PSG.
A
lot of players have done it. Why didn't he buy out his contract?
Are you sure Man United did not refuse that? Because I'm sure that.
Are you sure? It was never on the table.
We don't know.
So what we know. So Eddie, let's stick with what we know. What we know is that is a Manchester United player.
Yes.
Who has a contract running.
Yes.
And he disrespected the contract. He disrespected his manager. Disrespected the club. Disrespected the fans. Disrespected his teammates.
And a coach that doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to that.
You know what? Festus, sorry. Forgive me, Festus. Eddie, you said the same thing about Arteta several years ago. He didn't know what he was doing. You were one of the people making so much noise about Arteta getting out of the club. Are you happy about Arteta today or not? Has Arteta proven you wrong or not?
Clearly, yes.
Listen,
as Arteta, Eddie, has Arteta proven you wrong or not?
Yes,
Arteta, these players, these managers know what they are doing.
So basically, let me say this on Arteta, right? Before everybody just says that, I completely didn't like Arteta. I didn't.
Oh, I remember. You were vocal.
I was very vocal.
Never liked Arteta. I still gave him chances. I still gave him chance. Eddie never liked Arteta at all.
At all.
It was Arteta out on every match, win or lose.
Listen.
No, let's not go on Arteta so that we don't lose fact.
No. We don't lose track of.
I want to point back. Eddie, hold on. Let's leave Arteta. Arteta is not the topic here.
You have to allow me to respond.
No, you're not responding on Arteta. Let's come back to Ronaldo.
But Eddie, we have for the club to move forward. You need to let the manager do it. No, I don't care if he stays or not. You need to let the manager. You need to let the manager do his job.
I'm bigger than the manager. The manager clearly has his plan. He knows what he wants.
Festus, I don't care who the player is.
No, they always be clash. It has started. He has already laid down the foundation.
Festus, that is not your business, my business, Ten Hag's business. Well, Ten Hag's business is he has been given a job to do. Take United back to where they were. Take them away from the rot. And he has a clear plan to do it.
Yeah.
Let him do his job. And if doing his job is demoting Ronaldo to the under 21s, so be it. I'm all for the manager.
I would support any manager, right, to do what he wants with his team. But at the same time, this was also unnecessary and predictable.
You have a contract, honor your contract, honor your contract.
I want to correct Eddie on something.
Festus wants to talk. He wants to talk.
Yeah, Eddie keeps saying the manager. Now, Ronaldo was given so many chances this season.
So many.
Ronaldo has played so many matches. I don't understand
8 games, 2 goals. 8 games, 2 goals.
He has played 8
One of them a penalty.
11 or 12 games. For Christ's sake, Eddie, what are you saying?
He has got 2 goals, one a penalty.
Wait, Kale, he played last match against Newcastle. He played the last match against Newcastle, and the next match he decided to bench him, and suddenly you feel the coach has done something wrong.
Against Newcastle, did you see the chances he missed? Did you see the chances he missed against Newcastle?
Severally. He was walking around the field, nothing. And clearly the coach saw that. So I don't understand why you're blaming the coach here. He played against Newcastle.
Ronaldo has played.
He started the Europa game. He has played a whole lot of matches this season.
He has started 8 games.
No,
he has started 8 games
this season.
No. He has started 8 games.
Out of 12.
8 games or
played out of 12.
Out of 12. He has started 8.
Started 8 or played 8. Because
I'll confirm that.
At least he was involved in 8 games, which is a lot.
Okay.
It is a lot.
But
the point remains that the ones he started, what was his impact?
Okay. So Ronaldo has probably started about 2 games or 3 games this season, right? And in those 2 or 3 games, most of them have been in the Champions League.
No, let's stick to the Premier League. Let's stick to the Premier League.
In the Premier League, Ronaldo has probably started 1 game.
That's the only. So you're saying he has started only. He has started only the. Right. You're saying he has started only the. What's it called?
Game.
The Newcastle game.
No. When Ten Hag started, I think he started playing. He was playing. He was regular.
No, he didn't start. He didn't start from the start. He didn't start from the start.
He wasn't playing. This was what brought the whole controversy, right? Because everybody was like, "Why do you have Ronaldo? Why didn't you let him go when you're not playing him?"
He doesn't have to play. He's Ronaldo. Is for God's sake, he's 37.
Exactly.
He's 37.
Exactly.
So you can't start. You can't start every game. And that's what they should accept.
Exactly.
That's what the manager is doing.
Ronaldo has to be used sparingly, right?
So why we complaining that the manager has kept him? Why are we complaining that the manager has kept him on the bench and trying to manage him? Why are we complaining?
Because the player doesn't want to be in the club. That's the difference.
The player is just a spoiled brat. It's as simple as that.
He's all about himself always.
He's all about himself. He's a selfish, spoiled brat.
He's highly selfish.
And anybody can hold me to this.
On the ball, Ronaldo is phenomenal. But you see, off the ball, this is the problem. And Ten Hag wants a different pattern of play.
I think that, at the end of the day, right, it's very, very unfortunate that someone that is considered, I wouldn't be happy if Thierry Henry was being treated like this, right?
But when Thierry Henry came back to Arsenal, he was being used sparingly. Yeah. He wasn't starting.
No, go back and check. But remember, Thierry Henry came as a loan.
He's a responsible guy. Listen, Henry was just
part of another club somewhere else. Remember that.
Eddie, no matter what, no matter what, Henry was there at the club. Yeah. We could have said, "Oh, Henry, that legend, our highest goal scorer in history, and whatever." Starting, no, he started on the bench.
If Henry has stayed with us up to when he started getting to the age of 37, 36,
he will not start games.
Starting games, it's clear
it's about managing your body.
When the likes of Van Persie and the rest were in Arsenal, you don't expect Van Persie to bench while Henry starts.
In fact, I didn't even want to bring Henry into this conversation because
guys, you know what? Eddie thinks that United is disrespecting Ronaldo, but thank God, Festus and I think the same way, and we think Eddie is very wrong on this part. And your analogy of somebody who has resigned and whatever. Listen, I can accept your resignation. Right, but see that period, the notification period, I'll still give you tasks to do, even though I know you're about to leave. So Eddie, if I accept that you are going to leave soon, listen, resignation is I'm leaving soon. That period, you will do the job I ask you to do. It's as simple.
Of course.
Agreed. But if you say to me,
we know he wants to go. We know he wants to go. He's going to go very soon. But right now that you are here, do the job. It's simple.
I agree. But would you be happy if you come in and say, you know what, I want to resign? Your boss said, hey, listen, you know what, I've got all these plans and things that I want to do. Don't resign. We've got bigger things that we're trying to do. And you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to pull my resignation. I'm not going to go. And then the next time your boss says, you know what, you were managing this big team. Actually, I'm going to stop you from managing that team. Take your responsibilities and now put you in. This is what I was saying. That's
Eddie,
where you're like,
Eddie,
when I came
to
I wanted to leave, you
Eddie,
sold me on promises about things that you were planning to do.
Eddie,
Now,
but I didn't tell you. I told you, Eddie. I told you things I want to do.
No, I told you
you are in my plan.
Part of my plan.
That's all.
You are the mainstay.
You're going to head. No.
That plan is to take away my responsibilities.
No, you're going to share your responsibilities.
You're going to share your responsibilities.
That means there are some matches you won't play. There are some you will play. Now it's simple. About a team. You are part of my team. Differs from you are
going to head the team.
You are you spearhead my team.
Two of you know that if that was the case, you would just pack your bags and leave. You go to another place.
But you know what? You leave a job. You leave a contract the wrong way. You know you get sued and you pay through your nose.
Ronaldo will never kid himself that the likes of Anthony, Sancho's, all the players they bought and everybody informed, and he expects that he will still play 90 minutes always. It's not possible.
No, it won't happen. And you know, my last word on this. In recent times, has Eric Ten Hag been getting the results? Yes.
Clearly he has.
So that's it.
And my last word, Kali, has they been playing well without Ronaldo? Yes. Have they been pressing fine? Is it a more balanced team without Ronaldo? Yes.
Yes.
And that ends it.
What have you to say? What have you to say, Eddie? What have you to say?
If judging everything by results, people can say that Tottenham are getting results, right?
Oh yeah, but they're getting results. But in recent weeks, they've stopped getting the results.
And something needs to change also. So when the coach makes his changes, now somebody will not start crying foul. Okay, let's even point. Eddie, hold on. Let's point out something. When Son was benched. Why? Because he has played about 6-7 matches there without scoring.
And he wasn't performing.
And the likes of Kulevensky and co were scoring. And the coach decided to play those guys with scoring. It's the same. Son came in and proved himself and has to come back to the game.
Son wants to be in Spurs. He doesn't want to leave. It's different.
Yeah. If the club didn't let him go, he should have bought out his contract. It's as simple as that. Let's move on from this. This has to be
a lot of players bought their contract and they left.
This has to be probably the most heated conversation we've had on Game On, and it's interesting because we're talking about a big player, so definitely this was expected.